Welcome back, everybody, to the Baltimore Orioles franchise here on MLB The Show 21. We've got a lot to go over today, and we're going to be going through a large majority of the month of September as we round out season number 2 of the series. We finished up August last episode. We're currently 55 and 73, 18 games under 500, and it doesn't look like playoffs are going to be a realistic possibility, which really for the first 4 months of the year, it did look like a shot that we could maybe sneak in as a wild card, but really ever since we sold at the deadline and made our team dramatically worse, the record has definitely shown that. Here's a look at the standings currently with 1 month left to go in the season. I believe if the season ended today, we'd have a top 5 pick. I think we'd be at like 4 or 5, which is pretty wild considering, again, for the first 3.5 months of the year, we were contending for a wild card spot. So now we're talking about possibly getting another top pick, maybe adding another blue chip prospect to the fold, which isn't too bad. So as we're here in the month of September, we need to have 28 players on our active roster. We currently have 26. And we're going to call up 2 of our top prospects. The first one being starting pitcher Max Meyer, who I think is ready for this opportunity. In AAA, he has not been outstanding this year, but I think giving him this month in the rotation is going to do him well. We're also going to call up Heliot Ramos, who has been raking in AA. In AAA, he's not been all that good. His average is only at 208 and 231 at-bats, but I want to give him an opportunity in the majors because I do think his hitting attributes suggest that he's ready. We would make a few corresponding moves, calling up a few other players. DL Hall and Hudson Haskin are both moving up to AAA. I suppose that's fairly significant. As we take a look at our current lineup with 1 month left in the year, we're really starting to see a lot of our top prospects enter the majors. Obviously, Heliot Ramos today, and we're seeing guys like Heston Kjerstad, Christian Robinson, Marco Luciano, and of course Max Meyer, who will be the number 5 starter in our rotation. He'll be taking Reynaldo Lopez's spot. Lopez has been a little bit cold lately. So I simmed the first game of September. I made sure Heliot Ramos did not play, and we ended up losing to Kansas City. So that brings us to this game on the 2nd in Chicago against the White Sox. The Major League debuts of both outfield prospect Heliot Ramos and starting pitching prospect Max Meyer. Both of these players are 2 guys who have very bright futures in our organization and 2 players who I'm very high on and believe that they can be long-term starters for us. Of course, Max Meyer will be on the hill. They're not going to show his AAA stats for whatever reason, but oh well. Heliot Ramos will not be playing in the field today. He will be playing DH, and he will be hitting in the 3 spot in the lineup today. Here's a look at both teams, 1-9. Regular starters for Baltimore, as Martin Perez will be on the hill for the White Sox. This is his first start of the year. He's only pitched in 9 1/3 innings, and he has not been all that good. His ERA is hovering around 8. It's not really the start to the year he would have wanted. Let's go early into the top of the first. One away for the all-star catcher, Adley Rutschman, who gets that one to go off the wall in left field for a double. Quick start for Rutschman as the Orioles try to strike early here in this one. That would bring up Heliot Ramos, the Puerto Rican native, for his first major league at-bat. On the 2-2 pitch, he rips a single into left field, so there you go. In his first at-bat, Heliot Ramos will get a single. His career batting average is now 1,000. Will it stay at 1,000? No, probably not. But it is good to see him swinging the ball well. Maybe he just completely sucks in AAA and happens to be a beast in AA and the majors. That's really all we can hope for, I guess. So now there's runners on the corners here for Ryan Mountcastle on the 1-1 pitch. He launches this one deep in the left center field, and this one will go over the fence for a 3-run blast, and Baltimore is off to a 3-0 lead. Mountcastle with his 23rd home run of the season, and the offense appears to be clicking. They're giving Max Meyer some early run support here in this one. As we transition into the bottom of the first inning, we'll get our first look at the former Minnesota Golden Gopher, Max Meyer, on the mound, who was acquired in a trade last offseason with the Marlins in exchange for outfielder Austin Hayes, who hasn't been bad with Miami this year. He's been, I would say, fairly average, pretty much what he was last year with the Orioles. His first batter, Nick Madrigal, would strike out, so a good first at-bat in the Major League career of Max Meyer. That would bring up Adam Eaton then on the 1-2. He plunks him in the knee. So Eaton will reach base as he gets hit by the pitch. And now there's a runner on here for Jose Abreu. He goes down on the changeup, so you can make that 2 Ks on the day for Meyer. And then to round out the inning, Eloy Jimenez grounds this one to third. The play is made by Ryan Mountcastle to end the inning. A good first inning for both Julio Ramos and Max Meyer. Ramos gets a hit and scores a run. Meyer strikes out 2, does not allow any hits or any runs. Top of the second now, 2 on, 2 outs for Julio Ramos, who singles again into left. So Ramos is now 2 for 2. He'll keep that 1,000 batting average for a little bit longer. And the bases are now loaded for Ryan Mountcastle, who's already gone yard once today. He had a 3-run blast. Can he possibly get a grand slam? The answer is a resounding no, as he will weakly fly out to third. Chicago makes the play, and Baltimore leaves the bases loaded, but they still do lead 3-0 as Josh Donaldson is the one at the play. Bottom 2, here's Luis Robert. Singles into right field, the first base hit Max Meyer is allowed in his major league career, and there are now runners in the corners as Meyer walked about her early in the inning. Here's the catcher, Yasmani Grandal, with a single into center field. Run scores. Robert will advance to third safely. And the White Sox will make it 3-1. The first run allowed in the career of Max Meyer, showing that, unfortunately, he's not perfect. Cesar Hernandez now will fly this one out into deep center. Christian Robinson makes the play. However, Luis Robert will score fairly easily. The White Sox add another one to the board as it is now 3-2. It looks like Chicago's going to try to make this a game rather than getting blown out. Let's go to the top of the third. A little lefty-on-lefty crime here. We know Willie Calhoun does pretty well against lefties, and he shows it on that one. Blasting this ball into right field for a solo shot, and it is now 4-2. Calhoun with his 13th home run of the season. He's certainly going to be competing for playing time next year. With a lot of these young stars in the farm system getting called up, his role for the future looks unclear, but if he can keep hitting lefties well, he's going to stay in the lineup. Heston Kjerstad then flies out to left. A nice diving play by Eloy Jimenez. I don't really think Eloy had to dive there, but whatever. He just felt like it. Bottom 3, another strikeout for Meyer. He gets Adam Eaton going down looking. Then Eloy Jimenez with 1 out and 1 on. Grounds this one into a 4-6-3 double play. Another strong inning of work there for Max Meyer, and it remains 4-2. Let's push forward now to the 4th inning, as it will be Julio Ramos up, currently 2 for 2 on the day on the 3-2 pitch. He lines this one nicely into center, and it's caught by Robert. That was hit well, and I got to give Julio Ramos credit. That was like a 10-pitch at bat. He did really well, and that should have been another base hit, but since Luis Robert is an extremely good defensive center fielder, unfortunately for Ramos, it is not. Bottom of the 4th inning we go to now. The White Sox start the inning off with 2 runners on. Not an ideal start for Myers. That's Tim Anderson, an impending free agent this offseason, with a base hit. Luis Robert then singles it into center. That one was hit very weakly. As a run will score, Anderson is safe at third. And the White Sox again bring it within 1, as it is now 4-3. And there's still no outs, by the way. Yasmani Grandal then grounds this one to second. The Orioles will try to flip 2. They cannot. The run scores anyway. Now, Robert would have been safe regardless, since there were no outs before that one hit. 2 outs, 2 on now. Bases are juiced following another single for the White Sox, and Max Meyer is really starting to get rocked. Jose Abreu then strikes out, so the White Sox leave them loaded, but they do score 2, and that will end Max Meyer's day. There were some good innings, and there were some bad innings. You can't expect perfection in Meyer's first game against a really strong White Sox lineup. I suppose it could have gone worse, but his debut also could have gone better. Chicago will be making a pitching change as well. Cody Hewer is in for Martin Perez. Ryan Mountcastle, the first batter of the inning, hits that one very high into left field, and it will curve fair. Somehow, that ball goes over the fence. I have no idea how it did. It went so high, it probably went over the moon and then curved back down. It looked like it was going to go foul or just stop in the field of play, but it scraped over the fence by mere inches. We got to look at that one again. 335 feet. That's a flyout, pretty much. But it got over for a home run, so it's now 5-4. Mountcastle with 2 dingers today. The following batter, Willie Calhoun, beats Vishift perfectly for a double. Had the White Sox not had Vishift, that probably would have been a routine ground out to third, so Vishift backfires in a major way. Runner on third, 1 out now for Marco Luciano, who singles it into center. Luis Robert makes the play. Robert has a cannon, so Calhoun is going to have to watch out as he does go home and is safe. So the sac fly from Luciano is a success. And the Baltimore Orioles will now make it 6-4 as we go to the bottom of the 5th inning. The long reliever Rory O'Sullivan checks in. Baltimore going to hope to probably get 2 or 3 strong innings out of him. Eloy Jimenez weakly grounds this one, but Jalen Miller makes a great play. Again, the shift nearly backfired, but Miller's fast enough to where he was able to get to the ball no problem. There's Max Meyer in the dugout, not overly thrilled with his performance as we take a look at Garrett Crochet entering the game for the White Sox. Crochet was actually picked a few spots after Max Meyer back in the 2020 draft. As here's Adley Rutschman with a single into center field. Runner will advance to third. I believe that's Jalen Miller. So the Orioles now have runners on the corners here. A great opportunity for Julio Ramos, and he will deflect this one off of Crochet's leg. Miller will score. Ramos is safe at first. So that is an infield single for Julio Ramos, his 3rd hit of the day. Crochet is a little bit shaken up. He will stay in the game, but the Orioles do strengthen the lead as it is now 7-4. Let's push now all the way to the bottom of the 7th. 7-4 remains your score as Josh Donaldson flies out to center. Nice play by Christian Robinson. 3 shutout innings for Rory O'Sullivan. The lefty Aaron Bummer is in here in the top of the 8th for the White Sox as we go 1 on, 2 outs here for Julio Ramos, and he gets plunked. So Ramos will reach base for a 4th time today. He has been phenomenal here in his debut. 3 hits, a hit by pitch, and the only at-bat he was out was probably his best at-bat of the day. Ryan Mountcastle then strikes out, so Ramos reaching base doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of things as the score remains 7-4. Travis Lakins enters here in the bottom of the 8th inning, his 26th appearance of the year, and he would be able to get out of the inning fairly easily as he gets Cesar Hernandez to ground that one right over to him. So a good 8th inning for Travis Lakins as we go to the top of the 9th. Jace Fry is now in for Chicago, another lefty. The White Sox have really, I think, only used lefties all day for the most part in this game. Willie Calhoun starts this one off again, beating the shift perfectly. That would have been an out had it been, a regular grounder. And it's an out anyway. The left fielder, Eloy Jimenez, guns him down going to second, so I guess Willie Calhoun should not have kept going. Bottom 9 now. Sir Anthony Dominguez in for the save, the Orioles closer, who's had a rough year, but we'll see what he can do today as he gets Nick Madrigal down on the outside fastball. That was a full count, too. That would have been ball 4. Adam Eaton now, the 1-2, swing and miss. 2 strikeouts for Dominguez. We'll see if he can get this last one against Jose Abreu, and he sure would. Sir Anthony Dominguez gets the hat trick, striking out the side, and the Baltimore Orioles get the W here in the south side of Chicago. 7-4 your final. A good win in the debuts for Julio Ramos and Max Meyer. Their debuts went very differently, though. Ramos was outstanding. He went 3 for 4, reached base 4 times, had an RBI and a run. Meyer had some good innings, but he wasn't outstanding. I'm intrigued to see more of him. The bullpen was outstanding, though. The White Sox offense did nothing after the 4th inning. So overall, a really good win for us, and we're going to simulate all the way up to the 25th. I know that feels like a lot, but I wanted to play the final games of the minor league regular seasons, and that would be the 25th for both AA and AAA. So we're going to simulate forward, see how the Orioles do in this span, and, well, the answer was not very good. We're now 62-88, which isn't a major surprise, and we are now officially eliminated not only from the division, but also from wild card contention, which is unfortunate. It's not really a surprise, but there you go. The Baltimore Orioles will not win a World Series here in Season 2 of the franchise. Max Meyer and Julio Ramos are both doing very well. Meyer's ERA is under 4. Ramos is hitting 300 with 4 bombs. You love to see it. So now let's talk about the minor leagues. We're going to start in AAA with the Norfolk Tides, who are 72-69. Nice. They had a strong season, but unfortunately, I do not believe they're going to make the playoffs. They're going to lose out on the division by a couple games, and they ended up missing the wild card, which does suck. But I still want to play with the AAA team just because there are a lot of new faces. The AAA team has changed dramatically since the start of the year. Of course, we've added the international free agents. We get our first look at Zoufos Polidoros. I'm excited to play with Carmen Sixto for the first time. And we'll get our first look at some other players in AAA like Hudson Haskin, Aaron Whitfield, and others. We'll also get our first look at DL Hall in a AAA jersey. We're going to be pitching with Hall today, one of our top prospects in the organization, who's been in AA for most of the past 2 seasons. Had a great year this season with an ERA under 3 for the Bowie Bay Sox, and now we get to see what he does here in this final month in AAA. As we get to the final game of the AAA regular season, the Norfolk Tides taking on the Charlotte Knights, the AAA affiliate of the Chicago White Sox. So we play the White Sox Major League and AAA team today. Here's a look at both lineups, 1-9. On the hill for the Knights will be former Major League veteran Jose Urena, who's had a really good season in AAA, 1.89 ERA, 1.04 whip. It's a shame he's not doing that in majors with the Tigers, in which he's been, well, really bad for us in real life. So let's go to the top of the first, a quick double for Zoufos Polidoros, who, of course, was signed during the middle of the season out of Greece. He's a great contact hitter, and I'm really excited to see what he continues to do. Unfortunately, the Tides would not drive anybody in this inning, as Aristides Aquino will strike out. Good inning of work for Urena. Here is DL Hall making his 5th AAA start. He's been good in his first 4, 3.72 ERA, 1.86 whip. The whip is a little bit high, but he is 2-0, so you can't really complain too much. Here's the Yerminator, Yermin Mercedes with 1 on and 1 out. Rips it into left for extra bases. A double for Mercedes, who is going to prance into second happily. If Tony La Russa was the Knights manager, he would encourage our pitcher to plunk him after that, wouldn't he? So with 1 out, the following batter will weakly fly out to second. Terran Vavra makes a play. That's a big out, because now the only way the Knights are able to score this inning is off a base hit. And it looks like they're going to do exactly that. Daquan Lawn Jr., another international free agent, will barely get that one to scrape fair. A 2-run double for the Jamaica native. And the Charlotte Knights will make it 2-0. A big hit for Lawn, his 4th double of the season. The center fielder now, Luis Gonzalez, is up. That one is deflected off the glove of Forbes, the third baseman, who's unable to get to first in time. So Gonzalez is safe, run is scored, and it's now 3-0. That'll bring up Gilberto Caballero, who singles into right. Aquino has a cannon, but the accuracy on that throw was off. Run scores, and it is now 4-0. Charlotte Knights, a disaster of a first inning for DL Hall. It would eventually end as Carlito Ramirez will ground out to third. Forbes actually bobbled it, but he made the play in time. So the Knights score 4. But they also left the bases loaded, so I don't think they're too happy with that result, but they can't be overly upset. They just scored 4 for crying out loud. Let's go to the top of the second inning as Diego Grulon hits this one into center, and Luis Gonzalez with an incredible diving catch. We got to look at that beauty again. What a play by Gonzalez. So both in the Major League game and the AAA game, the White Sox clearly have center fielders who are lightning quick. It seems like the Tides are starting to get into a groove defensively as they turn the double play. Seems like DL Hall is starting to pitch a little bit better. That was Yermin Mercedes who actually grounded into the double play. Speaking of double plays, the Knights are going to try to turn 2. They only get 1. You're not throwing out 97 speed Ivan Cortez Jr. there on the base pass. Zoufos Polidoros now gets that one right to second. A great defensive play. Polidoros slid to first. I promise that was on accident. I did not mean to have him slide to first. But it doesn't matter because he's safe. So I guess it's all good. That'll bring up Carmen Sixto now, the 2-1. Grounds this one to short. And what is with these defenders? They are making every play. It's like the Knights have 9 gold glovers on their defense. Bottom of the third, Caballero will strike out. Another successful inning of work here for DL Hall. That was his second strikeout of the game, and he gets Danny Collado to ground out. So the second and third innings for DL Hall were a lot better than the first. Now, it's hard to do worse than he did in the first. He allowed 7 base runners, but you get the point. Top of the fourth, Whitfield hits this one into weak center. Luis Gonzalez did not chase after it at all. I don't know why. He could have easily made that play. We'll see if that bites him in the rear end. 2-1, 2 outs for Diego Grulon, who hits that one high and pretty deep in the left center field. And Luis Gonzalez will track that one down, and that will conclude the top of the 4th inning. Norfolk has had multiple opportunities to get on the board today. They just have not been able to, and they still have nothing. Bottom 4, a shaky start to the inning for DL Hall as the first 2 batters reach base. That's Chauncey Lyle with the walk. He does get Yerman Mercedes to go down looking, so there's something, I guess. Daquan Lawn Jr. now with 2 on, 2 outs. He gets fooled by the outside 2-seam fastball. A great pitch by DL Hall with 3 straight scoreless innings. Top of the 5th now, Pauly Doros gets a pitch he likes, and he's going to rake that one into right field for extra bases. Zufus Polydoros has a beautiful swing. He had a few shaky defensive plays in this game, but this guy can absolutely hit the ball. I think he's going to be a guy who can be a 300 hitter for multiple years in his career. The following batter, Carmen Sixto, launches a nuke into left field. That one goes into the 4th story of that building. 407 feet, Sixto with his 6th home run of the season. Carmen Sixto's definitely going to be with the Major League team for spring training next year. If he hits well in spring training, I would not be surprised if he starts next year in the bigs. Aristides Aquino now. That one has a chance to center at the wall, and it's robbed. Luis Gonzalez robs Aquino of the home run. Still a good inning because the Tides turn 2. But I literally feel like I'm watching Willie Mays today with how Luis Gonzalez is played in center. Speaking of Luis Gonzalez, he's up in the bottom of the 5th, and he proceeds to mash a home run into right field. This is literally Willie Mays reincarnating into some random, 26-year-old AAA player. I don't know what I'm watching, but this guy is absolutely insane. We need to keep him on our radar this offseason because he is really, really good. The Knights will now make it 2-5. The inning would get to a strong end as Danny Collado lines out to 3rd. Tequan Forbes makes the play. That'll end DL Hall's day. 5 innings, 5 earned runs. The Knights will also make a pitching change as Jose Urena exits the game for another former Major League veteran in Jordan Lyles. His first batter is Hudson Haskin, who goes down looking. Haskin was called up to AAA at the beginning of the month. Hasn't played great, but he was really good in AA this year. Jorge Alcala will enter in the bottom of the 6th for Norfolk. He was acquired in the Andrelton Simmons trade with Minnesota at the deadline. This is a young man who I think is going to be an absolute stud at the next level. And he's done well in limited Major League opportunities. And he would have a 1-2-3 inning, striking out Yerman Mercedes to get through the bottom of the 6th fairly easily. 5-2 Knights, still your scores. We go to the 7th. Here is Terran Vavra hitting that one into center. And again, Luis Gonzalez is going to make every play. It's unfortunate that Vavra's been pretty disappointing. His potential actually dropped from an A to a B for what it's worth. Here is Ivan Cortez Jr. The following batter gets that one to drop into right for a hit. So Cortez with his 97 speed is now on base, and that'll bring up Carmen Sixto at a home run earlier. This one will stay in the ballpark, but it might drop for a hit, and it does. Cortez will head to 3rd, but Sixto is caught in a pickle. He somehow gets back to 1st in time. That was really bad base running by Carmen Sixto. He was awfully lucky. So now there are runners on the corners. The tie-in run of the plate, it's Aristides Aquino. He's going to single that one into left. Aquino's probably pretty upset that his previous at-bat, which would have been a home run, was instead robbed. So now it's 5-3, 2-1 for Hudson Haskin, who's had a pretty rough game so far. He is 0 for 3, but he can make it all up here. And he does, kind of. He draws a walk. So the bases are now loaded. The Knights did just recently make a pitching change for what it's worth. Tyler Chatwood enters for Lyles. So the bases are now loaded for Tequan Forbes, who hits this one pretty nicely into right field, but it is caught. So the Tides score 1, but they leave the bases loaded. A possible wasted opportunity as we go later in the inning, and Luis Gonzalez actually grounds out. Gonzalez was 3 for 3 before that at-bat, by the way. Clearly, Jorge Alcala is really good. If he can get Luis Gonzalez to ground out, that's impressive. And I know Luis Gonzalez is just some random minor leaguer, but again, he literally looks like prime Willie Mays today. Let's go to the bottom of the 8th. Dylan Tate is in for Norfolk. He's had a solid year in AAA. Not great, not bad. He would get out of his inning fairly easily. Actually, 1-2-3 as Carlito Ramirez II will fly out to right. Aquino makes the play. So we now go to the top of the 9th. 5-3 is your score. Norfolk going to try to hold on for a win. Jimmy Cordero is in for what would be his 44th save of the season. His first at bat is the speedster, Ethan Cortez Jr., who tries to lay down the bunt, and, well, he failed, as it will be caught by the catcher for the first out of the inning. That'll bring up Zufos Polidoros, who has 2 doubles today, and this one will not be a double. Instead, it's a bomb, as that one is crushed out of the ballpark, and the Tides bring you within 1. 444 feet. I'm telling you, this guy can absolutely hit. I loved playing with Zufos Polidoros today. He was not great defensively in this game, but the kid can rake. Here's Carmen Sixto now. He will get his 3rd base hit of the game with a single into center field. So now the tying run is on base with 1 out. A massive opportunity for Aristides Aquino. Here is the 2-2 pitch from Jimmy Cordero. Aquino rips that one into left for a single, and now the potential winning run is on base with 1 out. The Knights did not feel comfortable keeping Cordero in. He would be replaced by Carmen Leon, who's had a pretty good season, 3.13 ERA, 25 Ks in 23 innings. He faces off against Hudson Haskin, who grounds it to 3rd. Knights with a chance to turn 2. They tag the runner. The throw to first is in time. Haskin does not agree with the call, and the Charlotte Knights will squeak away with a 5-4 victory. I think the AAA team looked fine today, especially considering they didn't have a lot to play for with their season already being done. And had it not been for the first inning, we were by far the superior team. The offense was impressive. Polidoros had a great game. Sixto had a great game. DL Hall was okay. He wasn't bad, but he wasn't great either. The Knights hit the ball really well early, but they didn't really do all that much outside of the first inning. Shout out to Luis Gonzalez, by the way. 3 for 4 with a home run, and he made multiple ridiculous defensive plays in center field. That guy was really, really impressive. So now let's talk about the AA team, and it's been a very successful year for AA. We're 77-42. We've already clinched not only the division, but also the best record in all of AA. There are a few players I want to talk about specific before we show the lineups. First one is Louis St. John, and it's no secret that he's been great this year. Our top pick from last year's draft. He's been the best hitter in all of AA, and it's not very close. For AA Northeast, he's 4th in average, 3rd in hits, 1st in doubles by a comfortable margin, 1st in home runs by a very comfortable margin, 1st in RBIs by 26. That's a lot. 69 runs, nice, which is also 1st. He's 6th in walks, 4th in on-base percentage, 1st in slugging by a lot, and he's 1st in OPS by a lot with a 904. He is absolutely raking the ball, and he's a guy who I think could be a major leaguer as soon as early next season. Not just next season, but like maybe May of next year. Xavier Edwards as well has had a really underrated season. He is 2nd in OPS in the AA Northwest, only behind Louis St. John. Edwards doesn't get talked about enough as one of the premier prospects in our organization. And I also want to talk about our closing pitcher, Julian Starnes, who was a 2nd rounder last year. He has been incredible this year. In 46 and a third innings, he's allowed only like 37 base runners. His ERA is barely above 1, and his ratings have really improved. I think his hits per 9 have gone up by like +9. Julian Starnes has been an absolute stud. This lineup as a whole is really good. The rotation is really good as well. And this AA team is scary good. I might bring DL Hall and Hudson Haskin back for the playoffs since they were on the AA roster for most of the year, and they were both key contributors. And I want this team to be really good for the playoffs since at 77-42, they will definitely be in the postseason. The AA playoffs, by the way, will be the main focus of next episode, and this AA squad is really fun, so I think you guys are really going to enjoy that next episode. But first, we do have the final game of the regular season against the Harrisburg Senators, the AA affiliate of the Washington Nationals. It's been a rough year for the Senators. They're 31 games over 500. They just don't want to get killed this last game of the year, I think is probably the goal. As Ben Bramer, the lefty, will be on the mound, 6-7, 4.46 ERA. You know, not terrible, but definitely not great either. Let's go to the top of the first inning. Runner on here for Xavier Edwards. He strikes out. I think he was expecting that pitch to curve down, and it didn't. That'll bring up Louis St. John, the #1 ranked prospect in the organization, and he launches this one deep in the left field. It will stay in the ballpark, but it goes off the wall. He swung at that one a little bit too early. Had he timed that better, I think that probably would have been a home run. But instead, it's a double. You're not going to complain about it. That'll bring up the catcher, Anthony McGathick, with an opportunity to put Bowie on the scoreboard early in this one, and he's going to do exactly that. Singles that one into center. Hall and St. John will both score, and the Bay Sox will take a 2-0 lead off of the RBI single from Anthony McGathick. So a quick start for the Bay Sox offense as we go to the bottom of the inning. A.J. Ladwig will be getting the start. Ladwig's had a nice year, 3.11 ERA, 1.15 whip. This starting rotation as a whole has been really good. Ladwig's towards the bottom of the rotation, which says a lot as he gets that batter to check his swing on the strikeout. Let's go to the top of the second now. 1 on, nobody out for Coby Mayo, who launches a nuclear missile into left field. That one is gone for a home run. I've noticed in games that I play with the AA team, I always do really well with Coby Mayo. And I don't know why that is. I'm not complaining about it. I just happen to do really well with him. Mayo's 12th home run of the season, and the Bay Sox are now up 4-0 as both him and Tobias Pennock will score. So a very quick start offensively for Bowie as we go to the bottom of the third. A.J. Ladwig is currently pitching a perfect game as he strikes out that batter. I don't want to jinx him because we still have almost 7 full innings to go, but he's been really good. Otsuzuka grounds that one to short, and it's an error on Adam Hall. So the perfect game is no more. The no-hitter is still alive, technically, but unfortunately the perfect game is dead. Here is Robert Tanana now, grounds that one to Spangenberg. To Hall, back to Spangenberg for the double play. 3 phenomenal innings for A.J. Ladwig, and the Bowie Bay Sox are still up top, 4-0. Let's go to the top of the fourth now. Deshaun Knowles, the Jamaica native, is up, and he's going to rip a single into left field. I really like Knowles. I think he's a super talented player. Spent most of the year in single A, was called up to double A after the trade deadline. This guy can hit. I mean, he's real good, and he's only 20 years old. I think he has a super bright future. That'll bring up Tobias Pennock and his weird batting stance that has him so close to home plate. He's literally standing out of the batter's box. He singles into center. Knowles advances to third, and the Bowie Bay Sox now have runners on the corners with nobody out. A major opportunity here for Coby Mayo, who's already gone yard once today. He's going to keep this one in the park, but it will go for a base hit. A single in the left. Knowles will score, and it's now 5-0. This AA team really hits the ball well, and they have showcased that early in this one as the Senators are going to make a pitching change. Joel Payamps will enter. He's had a nice year as a long reliever, 2.81 ERA. Nice amount of strikeouts and 86 in the third innings. As here's the first baseman, Chad Spangenberger, with 2 on and no out, launches a bomb into center field. So clearly the pitching was not the issue for the Senators. It's just that this offense is so unbelievably good, and it is now 8-0 after the blast by Spangenberger. So Bowie's going to widen their lead even more. This is a AA team with the talent of a AAA team, pretty much. That's why they're so good, and that's why they're dominating today. Ladwig's still doing well. He strikes out John Gonzalez for a second time. Ladwig up to 3 Ks on the day in total. As we move on to the fifth, 8-0 remains your score. Tobias Pennock is up at the plate with 1 on and 2 outs. Pennock is 2 for 2, going to make that 3 for 3. That one goes in a left center gap. Run should be able to score, and it is now 9-0. Bowie just cannot stop hitting. This team's going to be so much fun to play with in the playoffs. I cannot wait to record this next episode because it's going to be so much fun. Here's Coby Mayo now. Lifts this one into left. That's going to go for an extra base hit. Pennock scores, and the Bay Sox have now reached double digits here within the first 5 innings. An RBI double for Coby Mayo, who is a triple away from the cycle for what it's worth. And the Senators make another pitching change. Jay Flaw, a former member of the Orioles organization, will enter the game. His first batter is going to be Chad Spangenberger, who went yard in his last at-bat. Keeps this one in the park, but it will go for a base hit. Runner will score, and it's now 11-0. The 7, 8, and 9 hitters for the Bay Sox today are 8 for 9 so far. That's wild. Pinnock, Mayo, and Spangenberger have been incredible today. So the score is now 11-0 as we go to the bottom of the 5th, and Harrisburg will finally reach the scoreboard. A solo home run for Jonas Hernandez, and the shutout is no more. The no-hitter is no more. Ladwig nearly took the no-hitter through 5 innings, which is really impressive. You know, I did not know that Joe Girardi was the manager of the Double-A team. I'm just learning that now as I saw him in the dugout frustrated. At first I was like, that guy kind of looks like him, but then it showed his name, which is kind of funny. There is a strikeout for Ladwig. He gets right back to business here to end the 5th inning. On to the 7th now. 11-1 remains the score as Tobias Pinnock will get that one to literally scrape over the fence, and it's now 12-1. The 18-year-old Pinnock continues to rake today. He is now 4 for 4 in this game. Joe Girardi is hyped in the dugout as the Bowie Bay Sox will now make it 12-1. 2 on, 1 out now later in the top of the inning for Adam Hall, who will ground this one into left field for a single. And the bases are now loaded for the top 2 hitters in Double-A, Xavier Edwards and Louis St. John. Edwards would be out without scoring a run, so now the bases are loaded and 2 outs for Louis St. John, who goes down looking. That stings a little bit. I think we wanted Louis St. John to do something there. Unfortunately, he does not. He thought that one was a little bit high in the zone. But oh well, it's still 12-1, and A.J. Ladwig is still dominating as he strikes Jonas Hernandez out here in the bottom of the 8th inning. I don't think Ladwig is going to get the complete game, but he's going to make it through 8, only allowing 1 as Robert Tanana will ground out to Spangenberger. A great start for Ladwig. I know he's kind of getting overshadowed by how well the lineup played today, but Ladwig was outstanding in this game. You need good pitching to win in the playoffs, and this team has exactly that. I know it's not a save opportunity, but I wanted to show you guys some Julian Starnes action. And yeah, this guy is really good. The top of the order is up for the Sentinels, and it looks like Julian Starnes might just have no problem with these guys as he gets the first out fairly easily. Starnes has recently entered the top 50 prospects list. I believe he's like 45 or 46. His potential has also gone up from a 90 to a 91, which is really nice as he gets that batter to ground out. I thought Starnes' MLB ETA would be like 2024, 2025, but he might be ready next year. He's probably going to start the year in AAA, and as long as he pitches well, I could see him getting called up sometime next season as he gets that batter to ground out. 1-2-3 inning for Starnes, a 12-1 victory here for the Bowie Bay Sox. Everything clicked in this game. The pitching was outstanding. Ladwig and Starnes did great. The lineup was tremendous, specifically the back end of the lineup. And there are so many guys on this team who can hit. I'm going to be confident in everybody in this lineup going into the playoffs. Tobias Pinnock, 5 for 5. Kobe Mayo, 4 for 5. Chad Spangenberger, 3 for 5. Louis St. John and Xavier Edwards only had 1 hit combined today. So if those two can get hot, I cannot see anybody beating this team. So that will conclude today's episode. I hope you guys enjoyed. I know it was a long one, but there was a lot to show today. As I said, next episode, we're mainly going to focus on the Double-A playoffs. We're also going to conclude the Major League season. I think we're going to play the final game of the season for the Orioles. And then after that, we will start to transition into the second off season, which should be a lot of fun. Hope everybody enjoyed. I'm out. Peace.